Hi. Um, this is a piece of prose. The reason it's prose is because I couldn't find a chord structure that I was happy with, or a poetic rhyme that worked in the text that I'd written. So I've turned it into a piece of prose. Now, essentially, the theme is a reluctant muse. When you think of a muse, you think of Joni Mitchell and Graham Nash and Dylan and Baez and Yoko Ono and John Lennon. And this is a woman called Doreen who lives in Alfreton, and she's a muse to one of the 20th century's greatest poets, songwriters, lyricists, who's a real womanizer. And she doesn't really get it and doesn't really want to get it, really. So anyway, it's called The Reluctant Muse. See if you like it. Bloody Leonard Cohen, he's always round here getting under me feet, looking at me with those moon eyes, jotting things down in that book of his, muttering away to himself, gazing into the middle distance like he's going to get his inspiration from the broad beans growing in the garden, smoking those funny smelling French fags. He's writing them mucky poems and songs again about sex and shagging and naked women, dirty bastard. Poets should be writing about flowers and daffodils, or angels in the morning, or lambs frolicking in a field, not people having naughties in some hotel in Chelsea. Disgusting, I call it. I blame it on the free love generation in the 60s. Too much sex, drugs and rock and roll, in my opinion. I told him, I know you were on that Hydra Island in the 60s with that woman, Marion. You've been corrupted by free love sunbeam. Corrupted. He said to me once, I was baking a banana cake, just putting it in the oven. He said he thought I'd got come to bed eyes. I ask you, what's that about? Dirty bugger, always trying to get me into bed he was. He told me once I was his special muse. I got quite stroppy. I said to him he shouldn't call me a silly moo. Thinking about it afterwards, I think I must have misheard him. He told me years ago he'd written a poem about a woman he'd met called Susan or someone, I think her name was. He said she was his muse then. I said, I know, they don't grow on trees, do they? Very witty, I thought, but he didn't laugh or say anything. Anyway, he read me the poem in the kitchen one afternoon when we was having a fag and a cuppa after I mopped the kitchen floor. I said to him then and then, I said, what's all this bollocks about? You've been on the wacky backy again, haven't you? Jesus was a sailor, she was a lady of the harbour, children in the morning leaning out for love, all they need is a good slap round the ear. I said to him, you need to get out more into the real world, get yourself a proper job. Then, ignoring what I just said, he reads me a song he'd written. Dance Me to the End of Love or something, I think it was called. Bloody long song it was, about 6 minutes. I nearly fell asleep. Anyway, he gets to the end of the song and he looks at me. I felt I had to put him right, and I said to him, if it's about the end of love, why are they bloody well dancing together? Surely they should be packing their bags. He couldn't answer that one, too practical for him. I said, someone needs to tell you, Leonard, this poetry stuff is not going to give you a living, Sunbeam. Who's going to buy it? Only other people like you, people on the wacky backy, or students with more money than sense. I said, look, Leonard, they're advertising for people to do night shifts at the Foundry in Alfreton. It's good money, and you can write your poems and songs in the tea break. How about it? There was a long pause, and he just looked at me in disgust and said very slowly, that offends my creative dignity and artistic integrity. Laughed one of his Canadian laughs, gave me one of his knowing winks and went off to the pub just before my Albert came home from the factory. Bloody Leonard Cohen.